about division, and division is really just a special type of multiplication. To divide a number, you just multiply it by its inverse. And so this a divided by b is really the same thing as a times 1 over b. And so 5 divided by 2 is really 5 times 1/2. The sign rules follow the same as multiplication. So if two real numbers have the same sign, it's positive. And if two real numbers have different sign, it's negative. And if you divide 0, it's always 0. So 0 divided by anything, 0 divided by 5 is 0. And you cannot divide by 0. So 5 divided by 0 is undefined. And you will get these confused for the rest of your math career probably, because that's what happens. It's very confusing. But if you divide 0 by something, it's just 0. Okay, so 18 divided by -3. That is really 18 times -1/3, which is -6. So 18 divided by 3 is 6, and then opposite signs make it negative. Go ahead and pause the video and try these, and then we'll kind of go through them quickly. 16 divided by -2/3. So I would definitely do the multiplication here. So 16 times -3/2. Notice I'm not moving my negative like to the top or bottom. Just the whole fraction's negative. It doesn't matter if you put it on top or bottom. The whole fraction's negative. And then to multiply this, you could do 16 times 3 and then divide by 2. But if you think about order of operations, it doesn't matter which ones you do first. So it might be easier to do 16 divided by 2 first and get -8 times -3, which is +24. And this dot is the symbol we use for a multiplication. So we don't use the times, that X symbol, too often, just because it looks like an X. We use that for a variable. It's -64 divided by -4. Another way to write it is like this, and that's just 16. And it's positive because they're both negative. -3/8, we're going to times it by -4/3. You could also just do multiplication just with parentheses. If there's a parenthesis with no sign in between, it means to multiply. And then here, let's do some division first. So we could multiply across. Actually, let's just do that. It's not too bad here. So this is 12 over 24. And then this reduces. 12 goes into 24 twice. So this is 1/2. 18 divided by -2/9 is 18 divided by -9/2. I'm going to divide first. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. And then multiply those to get -81. And here, this would be -2/5 times 1 over 18. So dividing by 18, you multiply by the inverse. And so this is, we'll multiply. Actually, let's reduce first. 2 goes into 18 9 times. And so that's -1 over 45. Now let's look at a few more here. Here's this word problem. Try to do this on your own and then watch this video. Or so pause it and push play. So Andy recorded the low temperature each night at his home during January. Over 5 consecutive nights, he recorded these temperatures. What is the mean low temperature at his home for nights? So mean is another word for average. So to find an average, you add all the temperatures and divide by the number of temperatures, or add all the data points, divide by the number of data points. So we need to add -2 plus -8 plus 4 plus -10 and then plus 0. And divide by, it's 5 nights, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. divided by 5. Now, here, think about order of operations. Addition and division don't go together. You can't like add and divide necessarily at the same time. And also think about this as the top of the fraction being grouped. So you have to add all these before you can divide. There's no like canceling. You cannot cancel this 5 into this 10. That does not work, or divide that. You have to add first. So let's go ahead and do this. -2 minus 8, that would be -10. And let's go ahead and write this out. And we'll leave the 0 off. And then -10 and +4, we'll do these together. That makes -6. And then -10 makes -16. So we have -16 over 5. And you can leave it as -16 over 5. If you wanted to get the decimal, you could. You could also write it as a mixed number. So you could say 5 goes into, it'd be, we just count maybe 5, 10, 15. So that's 3 and 1/5. And really, we don't use mixed numbers, or it'd be 3.2 degrees. We don't use mixed numbers very often in Algebra 1 and beyond. So as you get further up in your algebra careers, the mixed numbers kind of go away and the improper fractions become king. Or queen, I should say. Okay, to simplify these. So this is something that you have to be very careful with when there's addition or subtraction on top of a fraction. And there is a shortcut, but I would say don't take the shortcut because you'll end up messing it up eventually. So instead, we're going to write these as two different fractions. So break them up. And then you can reduce, like you know how to reduce fractions. So break this up into two different fractions. Think about this as like before combining them, it looked like this. If you were to add these together, you would get back up to here. So this becomes positive and it reduces to 1/2. And this becomes positive 1/2. And then if you want to combine them, that'd probably be good. We can make this x plus 1/2. And so here you can see the shortcut. The shortcut would be you can divide each of these terms by -2. And get down to x. This is positive. Sorry, I was like, that does not look right. There's my error. I put a negative sign there out of nowhere. There we go. So that's a negative, and that's negative. So if you can divide all the terms by the same number, that's a good shortcut for reducing. But if you can't divide all of them, then you can't divide any of them. So that's why it's better to split it up. So here, -6y/3 plus 18/3. And then just reduce. This is -2y. 18/3 is 6. And then last one, try this on your own. Push pause if you haven't yet and try it. You can divide by everything here. So divide, sorry, -5 by everything. Or split it up and you get 2z plus 4. Okay, good luck with division. Have fun with it. Remember, if signs are the same, it's positive. If signs are different, it is negative.